Okay, we're going to take a look at vertex form in a kind of a different way, right? Or not too different. Okay, but basically, another way of thinking about the up and down and left to right shifts, so not the shifts that happen with A, but the shifts that happen with H and K. Another way of thinking about that is just about thinking about the vertex changing locations, right? So the reason that this is called vertex form is that we can actually just see the vertex by looking at the equation, right? And so the vertex is at the point H, K. Okay, so in the parent function, right, where in the parent function in vertex form is this, H and K are both 0, and the vertex is at 0, 0, right? And we remember that, like when we graph y equals x squared, it just looks like this, and the vertex is right here at 0, 0. Okay, now, when we change H and K, that's when the vertex moves. So let's say we change H and K to both are 3. So now the vertex is at 3, 3. Well, what that means is that the graph moves up 3 and right 3, right? And so now we have the same parabola, but the vertex has moved, right? So that's kind of another way of thinking about these shifts, is thinking about the vertex moving around. Okay, now another thing about the vertex, in an upward-facing parabola like these, right, where remember A is positive, okay, the vertex is the lowest point. It's called a minimum, okay, which is the lowest point, right? So here you can see the vertex is the very bottom of the parabola. Now, when a parabola is facing down, where A is negative, right, where this number is negative and therefore the parabola has flipped over, the vertex is the highest point. It's called the maximum. Okay, and it's the highest point. Okay, now let's just take a look at how we can use this information. It says, given the graph or equation below, give H, K, and the vertex of the graph and tell whether the vertex is a minimum or a maximum. Just circle one here. Okay, so looking at this. So remember vertex form, and I'm just going to write vertex form right below this. Okay, so what is H here? What is H in this equation? Well, let's see. H is, so the way that this would become a plus is that this is x minus negative 1, right? That becomes x plus 1. But the H here, right, because this is a negative, that's this negative right here. And so H is negative 1. Okay? And K, we can kind of see a little bit more simply, is 5. So what that means is that the vertex is at negative 1, 5. Okay, so, and if we just think about that, right, the parent function, remember the vertex is at 0, 0. So this vertex is at negative 1, 5. And so that parabola is going to look more like this. And we can also see that, right, that's also a shift left 1 and up 5, which is how we talked about it on the previous page. Okay, so the vertex is at negative 1, 5. Now, is that vertex a maximum or minimum? Now, what I actually drew here was not accurate because, look, this is a negative. So that means the vertex is at 1, 5, but this graph is going to be flipped. And in fact, it's also going to be narrower, right? So it's going to look more like this. It's going to be narrower, and it's going to be upside down. So this vertex, negative 1, 5, this is a maximum. In this graph, the vertex is at negative 1, 5, and that is the highest point on the parabola. Okay, now what about here? Now what is this? I am not giving you an equation. But you can see right here, here's the vertex right here. Okay, you can see it is the lowest point on the graph. It is a minimum. Okay, the vertex, you can see that the vertex is at 3, negative 2, right? So that point is 3, negative 2, which means H is 3, and K is negative 2, right? Because remember, the vertex is always HK. Okay, so we could even kind of try to write an equation for this, but we don't need to. That's not necessary, right? The only mystery we would have would be what that A value would be, right? But we would know that it would be positive, so just for kind of our entertainment here. This would be a positive number here, this A. We're not sure what it is. It looks kind of like the parent function, right? Probably just 1. But we would know that this would be x minus h, and h is 3 squared, and then the k would be minus 2, right? So we could kind of take a guess at the equation based on this graph.